Oh, thank you, Kat. Well, you know what? Dr. Eve is with us in studio. We are talking about disagreements. Now, earlier we hit the streets to find out how you handle disagreements. Now we want to know whether you think that disagreements should be avoided.
Try to walk into someone's shoes for 5 minutes, and then I understand where they come from, and then that helps me.
Obviously listen to what that person has to say. That person should obviously listen to you as well. In that form, you would be able to hear his point of view, your point of view, come together, the solution will then be resolved, because obviously no right or wrong.
I know the worst way to handle a disagreement is emotionally. So if you can, take some time out, think about it. Because when the emotions are running, your critical side of your brain stops working.
I think any disagreement in a relationship should be handled with the utmost respect for one another. I think both opinions should be heard, and I think a big problem in relationships is the confrontation mode. One person starts talking, the other person starts talking, and nothing really gets said because the two parties are interrupting each other the whole time, that one party cannot get across what he or she is angry about, and vice versa.
I think they should open up and admit that they're going to have a discussion about a disagreement, so you're prepared that, okay, someone's going to say something that I might not like, and then in a way spell out the problem, what it is, without any emotion. Just say it for what it is, and then afterwards you can be like, okay, I feel this way about this, how do you feel about that? And then kind of build on how you feel first before you get to any solutions after that.
Sure, I'm loving this advice, but I just turned to Dr. Eve and I said a lot of this is easier said than done, especially when you're working with two individuals with their own mindsets and their own way of thinking and not wanting to compromise. How does one successfully deal with a disagreement in a relationship?
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same, Leanne, that here we have people who've got very still minds, they're on the street, they're calm, they're not in disagreement, so they can be very intellectual and cognitive about it.
Yeah.
But put two people together, and as the one guy said, emotions get in the way, and the moment the emotions get in the way, you cannot think critically about it, and there isn't anything rational. So you may have agreements before you get married, before you get into a significant relationship, around these are things that we agree and disagree with. But in that moment, it becomes very heated, and all of those good skills just disappear completely. So there are certain things that one has to do. Here are some tips on how to go about doing it.
Yeah.
The first thing you have to do is to do something called self-soothing. You have to do your breathing.
Okay.
The guy said take some time out.
Yeah.
You have to do some self-soothing. You have to totally get your brain still, do some breathing so that you're able to think a little bit more.
Yes.
And then you do what's called a soft startup. Okay. Soft startup means saying, I really like the way that you raise the children. I think that you're a fabulous parent. One of the things I'd like to change about it, the things that I really struggle around it, is the way that you discipline them.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable around that. And what I would prefer is that you discipline them in this specific way. Put them to bed at a certain time, because we have an agreement that children go to bed at a certain time. Yeah. So you do that soft startup.
That's amazing.
The worst thing that you can do in terms of disagreements is by doing 4 things. And this is something I speak about often on the show because they're very well known, negative things to bring into relationship. In fact, I went last week to hear the people who brought this in through their research, the Gottmans, and I went to one of their lectures. They were in the city last week, and I went to go and hear them. So what they talk about is the first negative thing you do, which we all do, is criticize. You don't raise the kids properly. You promised you weren't going to have a child. Now you've fallen pregnant. And then the next thing that comes in is called defensiveness. I don't do that. You do that. That's when then becomes the angriness comes into it. And then the one person goes into something called contempt, of name calling, putting the person down, personalizing them, which makes them feel incredibly, incredibly unhappy. And then the next phase is called stonewalling, where you just shut down, you keep quiet, and then the disagreement never ever gets resolved. So what we want to do is to do the absolute opposite, is to do the self-soothing, go into the soft startup, and then you begin a process of negotiation, because then you're able to do that. I don't really approve of the way that you discipline the kids. I think that half-hour extra is better. And then the other person says, well, I don't really like that, but I'm weighing it up in terms of what is the risk and the benefit to me. Okay, I think I can compromise on this particular issue. And then there's an exhale, and there's a feeling of, wow, we actually have reached agreement around something, or else we agree that we don't really agree on this.
I love those. I remember one of my ex-boyfriends once told me, he's like, in our relationship, please just don't become historical. Because you know we can take files out from 10 years ago. On this day, at that time, you did this. Men are never going to meet us on that level, ever, ever, ever.
Absolutely.
Well, Dr. Eve is joining us again after the break. So if you've got a comment or a question, we are talking about handling disagreements. Give us a call, 083 9133 728. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see you in a few.